Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today on Her Coffee Diaries, we're talking about finances. Okay, so here's the thing. Money and finances to me have been very touchy subjects just because I have never felt comfortable about talking about money and comparing myself to how people save money and how I've saved money and how much money I have. So it's just this weird topic that I've been avoiding, but I feel like money is very much related to the idea of being a student because you don't have a lot. And one of my goals for me personally is to be able to save minimum 10K before I graduate in 2023. So maybe I'm just making this video to make myself accountable so that I do reach this goal. But yeah, today I'm gonna be giving you 5 tips on how to save money while you're a student. So grab some coffee, grab some tea, whatever, and let's get into the video. Okay, so my first tip is to always have a budget. Now there are so many different types of spreadsheets online when it comes to making a budget, but I just stick to Excel on my computer because it's easy and fast, and I don't really need a lot of fancy tabs on my computer and different charts and all that stuff. So I just use Excel, and I found it to work really great for me. So what I do normally is I open an Excel document and I make a spreadsheet for the month. So for example, here I have March going on because I'm planning for my budget in March, and I write down my priority expenses, which include rent, utilities, internet. I also have Spotify and Netflix subscription, so I always put those into my priority expenses. Now these are the expenses that I have to pay, so they always come first, and that's how I make sure I'm on top of my game. Now apart from these expenses, I also have expenses like credit card payments and savings, which leads me to my second tip. Have a separate savings account. Now here's the thing, I don't know about you, but I cannot have my savings in the same account as my checking. So I have to have a separate bank account where I cannot see the money that I'm actually saving. So when my money comes in at the beginning of the month, I always put aside a few $100s and I transfer it to my savings account. That way I don't see it, I don't touch it, and I cannot use that money. So I also asked some of you on Instagram, and apparently some of you also do this, and I think that's great. It means that we're on the right track of saving money. Okay, so my third tip is to have an emergency fund. Okay, so what is an emergency fund exactly? Well, basically it's what it is. It's a fund that you have set aside for emergencies. The main thing that I really love about emergency funds is it stops you from using your credit card when an emergency happens. Let's say your car broke down or you have to go to the dentist. And we know dental care here is not cheap. So instead of using your credit card, you can just use your emergency funds, and that way you don't get into a lot of debt. Now here's the thing, I didn't know that I was supposed to have an emergency fund, and I didn't know that that was a thing until a few months ago. And it made so much sense, right? Like, yeah, an emergency fund. Why can't we just have those instead of using our credit cards when an emergency happens, right? So what I did was open another bank account. Yes, for me personally, I cannot have money set aside in my main checking account because I'll just see it and I'll just use it in the end. So I had to open another bank account for me to save my emergency funds. Now, when I did research online about emergency funds, it varied from person to person, but usually you want to have at least 1 month's living expenses in your emergency fund account. So let's say my living expenses for 1 month is usually $1,000. So that's the goal I'm trying to reach at the moment. I'm not there yet. I'm still building my emergency fund, but when I get to $1,000, I feel like I would have enough money to feel, you know, a little bit safer when emergencies come up. It's snowing outside and I'm really not happy about that. Okay, tip number 4, cash, cash, cash. It's very important that you always have cash on you. Now, here's the thing. In this day and age, people like to carry cards, and I used to do that. I was not a person that ever had cash on me, and I always used my debit card and my credit card. And that's kind of the loophole that we want to get out of, because if you just keep swiping, it's very easy to just, first of all, max out your credit card, and it's very easy to just spend all of your money. So what I do is at the beginning of the month, when I'm doing my budget, I make sure that I know how much I'm going to spend for the month, and I take out that certain amount of money. That's the amount of money that I'm allowed to spend, and that's the amount of money that basically is going to be my allowance for the rest of the month. Now, this has helped me so much because then I know how much money is in my wallet, and I can plan for certain things like groceries, food, and stuff like that. I don't buy coffees anymore now because I know I only have a limited amount of money to spend. If you want to go to the extra mile, I sometimes also hide the money that I have in like little spots inside my wallet so I don't spend all of them at once. And sometimes it's really fun, because then when I think I don't have money anymore in my wallet, I find like a $20 bill, and it just makes me happy, like, oh hey, I'm actually pretty good with my money and pretty responsible, and I still have $20 for the 3 days left in the month. So that's always an awesome feeling. Okay, now you have cash, and if you pay things with cash, it means you're most likely to get change. Now, here's the fun part. Every cents matter. So take out a container, buy a piggy bank or something, and put your change into a small box, into a piggy bank, and let it grow. Let it be filled with coins, with quarters, with cents, with dimes, and then when it's full, take it to the bank and you'll feel like a millionaire. Like, my boyfriend had like a bag of coins. He took it to the bank and it was worth like $100 something. And I think that's a really great way to save money as well, because you know, they're cents and you sometimes don't know what to do with it, and you don't feel like it's a lot of money, but after a while it collects and it goes up, and then you go to the bank and you find out that it's worth $100 or sometimes $200 if you actually collect a lot of it. So yeah, that's also one of the benefits of having cash all the time, is you get change and then you can save it and then put it back to your bank account. Okay, so tip number 5 is actually from you guys. I ask people about how they save money on Instagram, and many of you guys said cook your own food, which is basically true. Meal prep, cook your own food, buy groceries and all that stuff. In the end, it does save you a lot of money. I have been watching so many meal prep videos on YouTube. I probably spend more time on YouTube watching cooking videos now than I should be on my schoolwork. Oops. That's a good tip, you guys. Cook your own food, meal prep, and bring your own lunch. Okay guys, so that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope these tips help you. And if you have any other tips on how to save money when you're a student, comment down below, because sharing is caring, right? Alright guys, I'll see you next week on my next video. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Instagram. And yeah, I will see you next week. Have a great day. Bye!